I want to start off this moment with two things. First, I want to let y'all look at me, and you're looking at the host of the Lady Nakia Wright show. I'm going to have my own radio show starting every Thursday in April at 8 o'clock p.m.
Chill music.
You want me every Thursday, I'll be every Thursday, but I'll be pulling on y'all for your wisdom and your strength to join me at the table. Come on now!
Yes! Welcome! Woo! Yes! Well, I might have to do this every Thursday. That felt good. Yes! I actually bought this because I missed the bells are still packed up from Saturday, but yes, happy Thursday. Welcome to the Lady Nakia Wright Show, a life reimagined. Yes. I am so excited, so honored, so extremely grateful to be before you this evening. I'm excited about my show and the guests that are here tonight. If you're joining me via WLVS online, thank you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're joining via my social media audience, welcome. Happy Thursday. Thank you for taking this journey with me. Every Thursday at 8 o'clock p.m. is a sacrifice for anybody. And I don't make light of your time. So anytime you tune in, if it's just for I hope it's for the entire hour. But if just for 5 minutes, I cannot tell you how grateful I am for you sharing that moment with me. Woo, woo, woo. What are we, the third show in? And I've been here 3 shows consistently. Come on now. Woo! Somebody keep track now. I don't know how long this is going to go. It feels good. It feels right. If you're tuning in for the first time, again, my name is Lady Nakia Wright. My show is called A Life Reimagined. It is a platform where I plan to bring many voices to the table. It is one where I hope that you will give me space to have my own opinion. While all opinions are welcome, I know that we are in a time that's extremely sensitive, and some things that I may say may offend you a tad bit, but don't count me out. I promise you there's more to love than that one offense. So join the family, the Lady Nakia Wright family. We have some topics that are very, very dear to my heart. This journey will consist of conversations pertaining to marriage, pertaining to working moms, pertaining to single moms. The platform is going to be very wide. I believe that every voice matters. And if God offered me a platform to share voices, to share stories, I believe that testimonies save lives. The Bible says, and they overcame by the words of their testimonies. I believe that testimonies not only save your life, but it saves somebody else's life. We were all born to be answers, and nobody can be saved by a quiet answer. So here we are loud, we are vocal, we are unapologetic, we are ourselves, and I'm excited about it. Yes, I'm crazy. I love God. And I'm just a round-the-way girl who God just saw fit to have a platform. Actually, no, let me rewind. This platform is because I'm married to one of the greatest men that ever walked this earth. That's Bishop Donald Wright. Mrs. Wright afforded me an opportunity to have a platform. So I'm grateful for it, and I won't ever allow my husband or the God that I serve be embarrassed by choosing me. So thank you again for joining us. Share this with all of your social media audience. Listen, you get a different view if you're on listenvisionlive.com. So if you're on Periscope or if you're on Facebook and you want to see a different view, I invite you over to listenvision.com because I'll have flyers and little things that I make up. I can't think of what the name is, memes or something, because I'm so creative and so great. Actually, it's Charmy behind the scenes making me look good, who's actually behind the camera today. Say hi to Charmy. And Marcy's in the studio behind the camera today, too. Say hi to Marcy. Those girls make me look good. So if you go over to listenvisionlive.com, you'll see a different face to the show. So we're going to take one brief moment, and when I come back, Tashia and D will be joining me. We're going to give you a wrap up from one of the greatest, most awesomest, only God could have did it conferences that took place this past Saturday. When I tell you it was a remarkable moment, live testimonies are still coming in about how great the day was. And I can tell you in my own voice because my name was on it, but it means a lot more to hear it from the ladies that were behind the scenes and join me on the journey. So grab your girls, take your restroom break, powder your nose, share this with your social media audience, and we'll see you in 60 seconds. Yeah.
I want to start off this moment with two things. First, I want to let y'all look at me, and you're looking at the host of the Lady Nakia Wright show. I'm going to have my own radio show starting every Thursday in April at 8 o'clock p.m.
Chill music.
You won't be every Thursday. I'll be every Thursday, but I'll be pulling on y'all for your wisdom and your strength to join me at the table. Come on now.
See, I can do this when nobody else is around and there's no music involved. I can stay on beat. But if I do this in church with this music around, I lose my rhythm. It's just be a whole show. I need classes. If somebody has tambourine one-on-one courses, can you please DM me? Because I need tambourine classes. I really want to beat this, but I'm a whole show with it. Hey, welcome back to the Lady Nakia Wright, a Life Reimagined show. Yes. I'm excited to be with you. As I stated when I first started my show, I normally have a bell, which I got from the Dr. Renee Allen show. She came up with the concept, and I said, why reinvent the wheel? I love it, so I used the bell because I learned it from her. But I took my bell for my long-winded speakers on Saturday, like Bishop Wright and Charmonique Bynum, and I forgot to bring them in. And in addition, the mug that I normally have was packed away. So today I have the mug that we gave away at the conference called Hello Happy. Isn't this fabulous? And if you love this mug, it basically is just like something that just starts your day off right. Hello, happy. Like that's just like it's like an affirmation that you can start your day with. And we actually still have some of these from the conference that will be going on the website next week for sale. So if you like this mug, look, isn't it gorgeous? Please visit our website at www.awomansvoicematters.net. Shameless plug. There's some great information on there. But you can get your mug, and a lot of the other items that were available at the conference will be up there for sale as well. So make sure you see us weekly. We upload different information weekly, and I blog a little bit on there too. I have a little bit to say. So yes, I'm excited. I got my girls at the table with me. Yes. So Saturday, wasn't it? This is our 5th symposium. And when I tell you, I think this one was my favorite. I think going in, it was my absolute favorite because it defined a moment in all of our lives. It was probably one of the best chapters that we've lived out together. So the manifestation of it on Saturday was just like, yes, this is only God could have did this moment. Our focus was on happiness. Our focus was life happens. And after life happens, recovery is often necessary.
And the people that we love, the people that we worship with, the people that we're our neighbors in the neighborhoods we live or walking in a grocery store, everyone doesn't recover the same. Some do recover and they are a success, but psychologically, there's a lot going on. Some people make it halfway through recovery, and recovery is so difficult that they give up. And so happiness, no matter where you found yourself, happiness, the game changer, met everyone wherever they lived, in my opinion. Dee, give me your opinion about the day.
Oh, it was electric.
Yes.
I think that the name was so fitting because it was truly a game changer.
Yes.
I think it really just shifted our perspective and our direction in how you do conferences and how you find a balance between divine and natural.
Amen. That's so good. If I tell you that we're going to do something, you know that we're going to eat crispy bacon, because I do believe that people that eat pork bacon are the happiest people in the world. There's a difference between turkey bacon and pork bacon. Pork bacon eating people are happy. People. It's got to be a scientific fact. I asked my husband to do a poll in church, but he didn't do the poll. But everybody that ate bacon on Saturday was dancing. I'm trying to tell you, there's something attached to this, y'all. Y'all better hear my heart.
Did you take their picture?
I should have. I should have did a poll right there. But happiness, and you're gonna eat bacon, and we're gonna dance. I believe that dancing is like a stress reliever. I mean, it brings out the youth in us. My granddaughter was there. She's my stalker. If she sees me anywhere, she's going to scream and act like she has no home training. And every time she hears music, she starts dancing. And she's in her own element. I don't care who's around. She's just doing Malia. And I believe that dancing wakes up the kid in us. It brings out that childlike quality that brings so much joy to your heart and a smile to your face. So we danced, we ate crispy bacon. It was a much needed moment. Happiness is the game changer. When you are happy, you achieve more. Your success rate is higher. Tashia, what you think? Now, this was our hype man. She had a happy meter. She had the mothers doing the mashed potato, the something or another. I didn't know the mothers possessed the qualities that they had on Saturday, but they was giving me so much life. Tasha, did you go to the altar for the things you had them do?
I had to. The bishop made sure. He had the oil ready Sunday.
Yes.
The happiness that Saturday, to me, the day was just so phenomenal. Yes. It was just evidence that a woman's voice is graced for these moments.
Come on, Tashia. Yes.
Just proof, just to see it all unfold. If you haven't sat in none of our planning sessions and the Zoom meetings and the late night
don't do it, Tashia.
Text messages.
You tried it.
Just to see it all manifested, and everybody who attended, just to walk away with something tangible from the conference. And then that's how you conference.
Yes.
That's how you do a conference.
Yes.
We set the bar high. It was just such a great day. The camaraderie, the ambience, even down to the staff of the hotel that was there.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my God. They were so in customer service at its finest. They were very accommodating and engaging. You looked up, you saw them dancing to the go-go music.
Yes.
Just a day for everybody. It was something there for everybody.
Mm-hmm. You know that you left a lasting impression when you get an email from the hotel staff and said, "Come on, 2020." Like, yes. Listen, it does nothing to say that you serve a great and mighty God and people's lives are not impacted by your presence. Wherever you go, you should make an impact for the good on somebody's life, because you have to. Sometimes you are the only God that people will see, and you have to show them that the God that you serve is worth following. And I believe that we did that on Saturday. I believe that we made a lasting impression. Listen, it's good when you have attendees that don't attend your church and they show up for your services on Sunday. Listen, that is a great barometer.
That's the truth.
And then to see our efforts spill over to Sunday morning, and how electric and how mighty and how it is always my heart's desire that we make preaching easy for our leader. And I felt like Saturday was a manifested moment of that. Like preaching. Listen, it was so good. Bishop,
We could have tag team preached on Sunday. I'm slowing my roll. I'm literally lying right now. I'm slowing my roll.
We'll pull it back in.
One of the things that Dee talked about that I thought was much needed was your bounce back. So Dee, give us a few nuggets from the session that you did.
Sure. So often I find that when the winds of life find us, we get so overwhelmed by them. And they're purposeful. So I talked about some of the purposes of the wind and then some strategies on how to manage the wind. And one of the things that I said is, in the current day that we live in, we idolize busy, but busy is not purposeful.
That's good.
And so often what we'll find is when we're in busy, you will find that purpose energizes and busy kills. Because essentially...
Purpose energize. Don't rush through that. Purpose energizes it. Energizes. And busy kills. What? Yes.
It does, because you think about it. We are purpose-driven individuals. And I find that so often we're busy because we don't want to be guilty of being found to be selfish
Yes.
and non-supportive. But you have to begin to check your motives for why you're doing what you're doing.
That's so good.
And so often we have this long to-do list that has nothing to do with what God instructed us to do, or did we even ask him if we should be doing the things that we're doing?
That's good.
So I talked a bit about that, but I wanted them to challenge their perspective, because I find that so often our perspective is what really throws us off balance. And you have to readjust and realign, and the winds will do that to you. It'll force you to realign your focus. It'll force you to really begin to take a deeper look as to how I'm really living. One of the things that I focused on the most is I think that so often the winds are traumatizing because it exposes the part of us that we don't want anyone to see.
That's the truth.
And that's our brokenness.
That is the truth.
And so I just talked about the reality that the power of God shows up in our brokenness. We're so busy trying to show our perfected state, but that's not really where he gets the glory. It's when people can see that God is doing mighty things in broken vessels.
Yes.
That's where the power is.
That is so good. One of the things that we forget is that the pain of our story is what saves the most lives. While you can attract many people with the up part of your story, this part of your story that makes it seem as if you're always winning in life, you can attach it to emotion. You can get emotionally attached to the perfection of your story, but it's the brokenness that's going to save a life. And that's the part of our lives that we hide the most, because oftentimes exposure is a peak of my own choices. And we don't want to face the reality that I chose destruction. Even look, and this is where God gets the most glory, because he saved us through our own choices.
Yes, he did.
And you take the glory away from God when you always give him a perfected life.
I chose
Like-
destruction.
What? Let me tell you something. How many
true.
listen,
Oh my goodness.
I look at my life every day as a gift, because my past, if you look at it, it was very destructive, and they were all my choices. The devil didn't make me do it. My friends didn't make me do it. I wanted it,
I wanted it.
and I did it. Let me tell you something. That's the biggest confession that I ever had to make. These is a result of my choices. And now I'm walking them out. And I've paid the price for them, and I refuse to let somebody else take me back to what I already paid the price for. Listen, I'm sorry. That was good, Elder T. This is the one who last week she said, recovery kept my dreams. See, no. Let's go back to that. No, let's go back to that. Listen, this baby said, recovery kept my dreams. What do you mean by that, D?
See, the reality of it is so many of us, our dreams are buried in our despair. And if we only understood that, I find that so many of the calamities of life is inviting us to healing. And I talked about that when it came to the winds, because I found for my own life, and I shared a little bit of my story, that I thought that what was happening to me was coming to break me. But it was actually an invitation to heal a generational pattern that was hidden.
Wow.
And it was exposed in my brokenness.
Ugh.
And it was a spirit of abandonment following me.
Generational pattern.
And so my experience exposed it to me, and it came through disappointment.
Jesus.
But so often, we don't sit still enough to begin to process what's really going on here. And God blessed us with emotions to process. But too often, we stay too long in emotions and wonder why we don't have the will to progress to another place. The Bible talks about there's a season for everything.
Yes.
But when we stay in overdue in certain emotions, that's why your tribe is so important. And that's one of the things that I gave as an important thing. If your tribe crying louder than you, get rid of them.
Wait, pause. Don't rush to that. If your tribe is crying louder than you, get rid of them. Oh, okay. Yeah. Over here.
Yes,
Listen.
if they crying louder than you.
Yeah.
For real though. Let's talk for real, for real. When you are hurting, the last thing you need is someone to speak to your weaker self. They need to command strength out of you.
I don't need no bell.
And if you're breathing, you got something left. And so often we feel like we have nothing left.
No.
and we don't-
Stop rushing through this. Your tribe is supposed to command the strength out of you. Listen, you all are getting lessons of life right now. This is tribe test. If your tribe is not passing these tests, reevaluate your circle.
Reevaluate.
Yeah, I find that we are living in a day where we have lost the power of vulnerability. We want people to go on scavenger hunts to figure out what's going on with us. And I have learned some great lessons through my father getting older, because I talked about coping skills as well in my session. And I found that so many adults lack coping skills.
Yes.
And the ability to discern when the coping skills that brought them is no longer serving them.
Ma'am.
And so
Bam.
I had a conversation
this
with my
all the
dad the
time.
other day. This is he lost his last living close family member. And so he's the only one left. And he was having a really hard time. And I said, Dad, listen, it's okay for your needs to change. And it's okay for you to articulate them. I said, I'm trying to help you, but you have to meet me in the middle. How can I help you?
Yes.
And his request was so simple. Can you FaceTime me once a week? So now every Sunday after church, before I take all of this off, because he know his child. Scarf coming on, looking crazy, talking about, hey, Dad, it's your baby girl. And to see that Kool-Aid smile on his face is everything. Yes. Yep.
You have to know when your coping skills need to change. That is so key.
And I was a loner, so I had to learn how to. It's interesting. I was just reflecting on this prior to the session. The fact that I used to like weathering storms by myself naturally. I was fine with storm come, child, get your groceries, go chill. But God had to force me to grow in being inclusive in my development. I think so often when you are accustomed to being by yourself, because life has just positioned itself such that you're away from family and your support system is not the traditional support system, you get comfortable in just responding to life in the way that has become normal. But God will come and disrupt normal.
Yes, he will.
To bring out great.
Yeah, he will come and disrupt normal to bring out great.
Yep.
I have learned through my walk that God will do some miraculous things and take you down some very uncomfortable journeys for his will to be manifested. That's true. And let me tell you something. It is extremely uncomfortable. I just had this conversation earlier today, piggybacking off of something you said. I had to learn how I process change. And sometimes change is not easy for me initially, because when you are at what you feel is your capacity, you get to a point when you feel like, God, I don't have the capacity right now in my life for another new beginning. And my husband actually shared this exercise with me.
when I know that life is different, I know that I have to change. And the way that I realize how I'm doing with the change is something extremely simple. When my bathroom is my favorite place in the house, and everything in my bathroom is in a certain order. And so when something new in life happens, I change the order of how I love things in my bathroom. And on the days, my good days, I go to where I switch things around. But on my days where there's some frustration and some agitation attached to my day, I instantly revert to how I'm used to it being. And that is that's my barometer of how I'm coping with the change that's going on in my life. And one of the things that we have to realize is change is inevitable. It's going to happen. How are you coping with the change? The longer you fight it, the longer you stay in a place that you dislike.
But I find that we do better with change that we're anticipating. But unexpected change is what most of us respond so violently to, and not recognizing it's a mechanism for progression and getting you to blessings.
Yes.
And so one of the beauties of the season that I've come out of is redefining certain emotional attachments to words. And I've learned that, girl, when I see a change coming, girl, something beautiful is on the horizon.
Come on.
You have to begin to filter your emotions through truth.
You have to begin
your
to filter your emotions through truth. Yes.
And you have to. And so often we don't want to be honest about how we're feeling. And I talked about that because I think it is dangerous to hide from yourself. It is so dangerous. God has given you the gift of connection. It is so powerful. And right now, we are living in a space where so many are comfortable living by themselves or feeling like they can become by themselves. And that's so deceptive. It's against the nature of God.
Let's pause for a second. You said something that was so good. You said we hide from ourselves. Oftentimes, life happens, and life happens so quickly that you've lost yourself. And how do you go about refinding yourself so that you know who you are? Because we will hide from ourselves in order not to face our current reality.
No, I agree. I believe, and for me, there's two things that have been so crucial to me. Courage, taking baby steps. First, you have to own where you are. And so many of us are fearful to say, I've lost my way, So it's so important. And that's why I believe prayer is non-negotiable. One of the things that I think is so important is in the storms of life, we have not made enough emotional investments on a daily basis to pull from in the seasons of life where we have nothing, where we perceive we have nothing to give.
That's good.
And it's the things that you cultivate daily that you pull on. Hence why I gave them the bank, because I said, this is your reminder to keep your dreams intact and to cultivate behaviors that will produce a return when life is giving you unexpected curves.
That's so good. And to basically what she's saying, let me simplify. What I believe that you're saying is prayer builds a strong foundation. When life happens, if the foundation is strong, you won't go with life. You'll stand flat-footed and firm, and you will declare that, yes, life is happening, but I am not happening with life. I know whose I am, and because I'm a child of God, it's a fixed fight. I am going to win, but I have to muster up enough strength to go through in order to see the victory.
You're absolutely right. You can't be in the fight trying to find strategy.
Listen.
You better come knowing. Listen.
No, you cannot be in the fight trying to find strategy because you've been through the training in this fight if you properly train. Now what you got to do is pull on your training.
That's the truth.
You can't be in there.
Come on now. And we resent the training. We resent it.
We resent
so
it.
often the very experiences that make us the dynamic contribution that we resent.
We resent it. This is why you get mad at your pastor, because he come for you or she come for you and you didn't send for them, but you don't realize that this is training.
And I talked about the 4 emotions that I think, the 4 what I call emotional wins that you got to get in check. And one was resentment, grief, bitterness, because those 3 will annihilate the best of who you are if you don't get it in check.
Yes, Lord.
You have to.
What was the fourth one? Did you say it was 4?
Oh, wait. And failure.
Failure. Wow.
Failure. You have to understand, how do you help people if you don't know both sides of the equation?
Listen, this is so good. This is why I say people often run away from people that they find are flawed. And what you don't realize is that flawed people are the only people that know the way out. Listen, you run to what you perceive to be perfection because it gives you hope that perfection exists. Newsflash, perfection does not exist.
No such thing.
There is no such thing. What you need to do is find somebody that's flawed and survived, because those people will give you the answers that you need in the times that you need it the most. Listen, perception cannot save you. Only facts can save you.
That's the truth.
Let me say something. I am living proof that flaws will produce greatness.
Yes, it
Listen,
will.
I
You
am
and
trying
me
to tell
both.
you something.
You and me both.
While Elder D is sitting here, and I know y'all taking notes because she is so dynamic. Listen, you don't chase the fame of a name. Chase the anointing behind somebody's voice. This is an anointed vessel right here. And she looked good wearing her Just Right jacket.
Yeah, come on here, plug.
This is a plug. This is a jacket that I designed. Isn't it beautiful? Look at this. I believe in everything should speak to you in your life. And all of these butterflies, look at this. This comes in an olive green and a black. Turn around and show the pizzazz in
Come
the
on
front.
here.
They got a little pizzazz on the buttons. What? Listen, isn't this fabulous? These are available. Please DM me if you want to purchase one today. We have jackets. We have dusters. They are absolutely fabulous. Oh, look at you, girl.
I
You're
almost
cute.
wore my duster today, but I
And
done wore it
listen,
twice since Saturday. So
it's fine. Wear it every day. It's just that cute.
It's a sin to support strangers more than you support the people that labor
a
with you.
sin. You better say it.
It's a sin to support strangers more than the people that labor amongst you. God chose the greatest women to walk with me. When on a woman's voice journey, we may worry about the small things. We may worry about the things that will matter to no one else. But one thing I never worry about is finances and commitment. These ladies invest their money, their time, their gifts, their talents, and you have to make sure that you are around people that make you look good, that push you to greatness, that love the things that you love just as much as you do. If you are the only one that's invested and people are riding on your investment, reevaluate your circles. Let me tell you something. We equally carry the weight of our yes. And this is why I love these ladies so much. Only God could have chosen. I don't even know how they even got here. I never asked. They just showed up and never left. Listen, people will think that they a clique. We are not a clique. Let me tell you something. They just showed up and was like, all right, what we doing now? And they never left. Let me tell you something. I might have not always accepted everything that they offered, but they never left. Their love, their I'm with you no matter what was consistent since day one. That's how the dream team was formed. Only God could have put this team together. They are amazing. And my husband says this, and it's so true. He said, it's hard to outlove them girls.
That's right.
They make impacts everywhere they go, and I appreciate them. So, Tashia, you shared in your second piece something that I think was so good. You shared a time in your life where you pulled out a calendar. Tell them that story, because I believe that that's going to set somebody free today.
Okay, what I shared with everyone that when I decided to end my marriage, I had started charting or notating on my desk calendar. I had a large desk calendar at work, and every time I either got in an argument, I was disappointed, whatever thing happened the day of when I left the house, I got to work and I wrote it down, whether I had a disagreement or whatever the case may be, or whether it was a good feeling. But I charted and noted the feeling on the calendar every day. At the end of that month, there was a big blowout, and I looked over and I perused it because it became so routine. I forgot to count and, really look at it. So after a careful review, I was like, something's wrong. I have more sad face days and more notes of discouragement, disappointment, and unhappiness than I did happy days. And I pulled the calendar off, I rolled it up, and I went home, and I said, we need to talk. I laid the calendar out on the table. Said anytime that I can chart how many times that I was made to feel unhappy versus my happy days and my smiling days, it's time to reevaluate this, and I want it out.
Wow.
I just could not do it anymore. I had proof right there in front of me every day. So I got a divorce, and there's life after divorce.
There's
And
life
there
after
is-
divorce.
I just refused to compromise my happiness anymore. And I didn't want my children to be statistic of a broken home, but I could not do it, not another day. Look at a calendar or look at a note that I made that, no, that's not what a marriage should be. And so I ended the marriage, and am I telling the fast forward as well?
Yes.
So fast forward years later, our youngest son just had a child, and we all went to the hospital to see the birth and witness our first grandchild. And I was dating a guy. I was in a relationship at the time, and this would be the first time that he would be meeting my ex-husband. So we were all in the waiting room, and I decided to do the introduction, and I wouldn't name names. So I was like, yeah, this him. Hey, meet him. This is who I'm with.
him.
Him, this him. And so he said, nice to meet you. They shook hands, dapped or whatever. And he said, listen, man, only thing I can tell you is watch the calendar.
Listen, that was a life lesson to him, honey.
Yes,
it was a life lesson.
Yeah. And so what I shared was, if you can chart times, events, opportunities, moments that has bringing you sadness, or you're not overjoyed in a day, and you can look back over and say, wait a minute, this is happening and I don't like this. You can use that as your barometer to say, I need to change. I need to change either my environment, and as they stated, my circle, whatever the case is that it's bringing you unhappiness, extract it, remove yourself, create your own. You have the power to influence your own happiness around you, and you can do that.
That's good. And for everyone, it may not end in divorce. I thought that it was a great exercise. First of all, I was grateful that she was bold enough and courageous enough to tell her story. That's the thing that I love about the ladies that we walk with. They are not afraid to tell their truth. I am a strong believer that truth is the only thing that saves lives. And you may choose to adopt her calendar story. And you may pray to God. He may have given you a spouse that hadn't noticed that this is the life that he or she was offering you. And listen, change can be produced because of details. Details matter in love. And this is a detail that I thought was so good.
So good. And I saw a pattern forming. I saw repeated incidents that didn't change. It wasn't just 1 month, 2 months. It was something that was ongoing.
Yes. And the key is it's life after divorce.
There's
How about
life
that?
after divorce.
Come on, Ty. Yes,
And a
Lord.
smile.
Let me tell you
Absolutely.
something.
It did not end there.
It did not end there. Listen, one chapter ends, another one begins. You have to always remember that a new chapter is available to you if you choose it. Life is all about choices, and you cannot stay stuck.
You cannot.
Listen, don't stay in a situation. I listened today to Eva Marcel, and she was sharing her story about domestic violence and how she couldn't believe that she was in it, but she stayed in it pretty much. I'm paraphrasing, because of the perception. She didn't want to look like a failure, and she stayed in it a lot longer than what she should have. Listen, get the power out of the pain and move on. Listen, failure happens to everybody. It's a necessary part of life. I said this earlier. Failure is attached to greatness. And let me tell you something. Life is too short not to be happy. And although happiness is a choice, so is disappointment. So is bitterness. So is a life that you regret. Don't live like that. Listen, I am still flying high from the moments that were created on Saturday. We received so many testimonies of so many women who was like, listen, if life show up, which I am not planning for it to do, but I got something to pull back from. Like, happiness is a game changer, and that's the part of life that I'm going to choose. I'm excited about it, ladies. Listen. I'm excited about it. Charmy just straight up killed the moment. Charm, jump over here real fast. Come over here real fast, Charmy. Share with us something that you shared on Saturday. She was one of our closing speakers, and let me tell you something, honey. That baby said, "Do our hearts not burn?" Like, show me. You using old people prayer warrior words, honey. Yes. Do our hearts not
She
burn?
put on the season, saints.
What?
Let the Lord use it.
Little bishop. This little bishop right here, honey.
I mean, I don't know about all that. But I just basically talked about how happiness it's a choice. Just like the lady said, one of the things that I have found through my walk is that the same way we can choose, the same way we choose certain things, we can also choose to get up. Sometimes life just happens. It just happens. But what you do in that moment is ultimately, I believe, what defines you. And not so much the circumstance defines you, but whether you choose to lay down and roll over or whether you choose to find the strength to get up. So every time you get up, you have strengthened yourself a little bit more. Like I like to think of it, and this is one of the things. This is one of the things that I didn't get to say is that it's almost like working out, which I do not like to do. But it's like working out. I remember we were going to one of the trainers, and we used to have to run up and down these stairs. Up and down these stairs. It was not the will of God for my life. But up and down the stairs. And sometimes I would have to pause on the step. And he'd be like, you stop, keep going. And then the next time I went a little further. And then the next time I paused and I took a deep breath, and then I went a little further. And life is just like that.
That's good,
so
Sean.
I got stronger because I kept going.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I didn't want to keep going. But there was no way that I could disappoint myself.
Yeah.
There was no way. So
Don't disappoint yourself.
That's one of the things that I just kind of talked about, just how what to do when life happens.
That's so
You choose to get
good.
up. You just choose to get up.
Yes,
Yeah,
Sharmy.
so good.
That was, listen, between Sharmy and Bishop Donald Wright, did he not? Let me tell you something. Bishop came to kill, destroy, expose, rebuild, remend, put you back together again, and send you on your way.
You ain't heard the story of Leah and
You
Rachel.
have
till
not heard
that
the story of Leah and
Saturday.
Rachel. Let me tell you something. DVDs will be on sale from Saturday. I highly recommend that part. Listen, if you think that you are a ride or die chick, I beg you to get the DVD. Bishop killed the definition of ride or die. You gonna die with somebody. Let me tell you something that is so destructive that your success is not gonna happen. Listen, are you gonna give up life because somebody don't choose it? You are not a ride or die chick. Let me tell you something. He killed the definition of that. You have to get the DVD. And one of the things that I love about how he tells the story of Rachel or Leah, and I can't do his words and his analogy any justice. But when he got to the last child, Judah, and he said, this time I'm doing it for me. Let me tell you something. Yeah. If I didn't have on those red bottoms, I probably would have ran up and down that aisle. But my shoes wouldn't let me be great at that moment. And listen, I appreciate the excitement that was in the room because everyone came with expectancy, like, what does this really mean? Happiness, the game changer. So the room felt like a sponge, and I loved every moment of it. I didn't encounter one negative person. Our vendors, who were incredible. Let me tell you something. Every last one of them. I refuse to have vendors come and they don't leave with abundance in their pockets because they've sacrificed their time to come. And when I was hearing that the vendors were sold out, and I mean, that was just amazing. If you go to AWV Matters, you will see the vendors who were at our symposium. Please follow them on social media. They had great products. If you were unable to make it, mark your calendars now for 2020. It is always the second Saturday in April. every year. It is the second Saturday in April. So mark your calendars now. We'll be getting out the new mark your calendars very shortly. And we had a first. I'm not going to bring her on in front of the camera because she brought me today and I'm going to need a ride home. But Marcy started her very first novelty company on Saturday. The name of her company is Lovery Incorporated. So go to my page and follow her because I'm going to mess it all up. But she sells motivational items. Her tag is Motivation on 100. On the days where life happens, everything should speak to you. Your cup, your mug, your pen, your pad, your shirt. And she has some great novelty pieces. Buying for you. Get ready for the holiday season. Get ready for Mother's Day. They're great items. I'm grateful that she had the courage to begin her very first entrepreneur moment. I think it's her first one.
And every attendee got her makeup bag. The Happiness on 100.
Yes. Yes. And those will be on sale too. Happiness on 100 makeup bags. Next week, go to our site. They were really great. Oh my goodness, we had some great pieces. I personally did an affirmation jar. I handwrote every affirmation. I prayed over every one of them. I did 8 affirmations. I wanted everyone to walk away feeling as if that day was a new beginning. 8 means new beginnings. So those jars would be available. You speak life over yourself every day. Put the tag back in the jar and every week start all over again. So I'm excited about it. The day was meant to be one that your heart can pull back on when life happens. We say that often. That was pretty much our thing, life happening. And those are the moments that I believe people remember the most.
True.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do. And we had an awesome MC. Ebony Blair was our MC.
Yes, she was fire.
She kept the crowd pumped and engaged and excited. And we had a DJ. I didn't do the traditional church type of symposium. I wanted to be out of the box different. I didn't want to do praise and worship. I didn't want to do a psalmist. We go to church often, and if church was enough, then we would not have had to have Happiness, the Game Changer Symposium. We had a DJ. That's Joe Johnson. Let me tell you something. He had the mothers doing stuff I didn't know they could do. I was so excited about it.
Yes,
we
Joe.
came out. This is how we started the conference, with the electric slide, the cha-cha slide, the wobble baby, wobble baby, wobble baby, wobble.
Amazing.
Listen, we started out on 100, and it just went up from there. He's really good. I should have. I'll put his stuff on my site. You should definitely book him for your events. He's very engaging. He's extremely hands-on. He asks a lot of questions, which I appreciated about him. He was the cherry on top of the day. It was a good day.
It really was.
Ladies, as we close, tell what was your favorite, absolute, most memorable moment, other than Malia dancing every 5 minutes everywhere. What was your most memorable moment of the day, Tashia?
The most memorable moment was the gifts every hour. Just to see the ladies light up, because we passed them out. We were initially going to do them on silver platters, but we all passed them out every hour. And to see them get the scarf, the mug, the selfie light for your phone.
Yes.
They loved that one. The journals, the red lipstick. Everybody was putting on their lipstick. The gift giving to me was most memorable. Is just to see them, just to see the ladies light up, when you're giving the gift. So it was a good day.
That's
Great
good.
day.
Dee, what was your most memorable moment?
I think for me, holistically, when I think of the day, I think of that we have arrived to a place where we've produced who we are.
Yes.
I think that you have modeled the way of love. I think our definition of love have been so faulty, and to see it just be so electric and engaging and captivating, and it was like a love fest.
It
That's
was.
good.
It truly was. It was so much healing and laughter, and to see it spill over into Sunday, and to end the day with a Tiger winning, it was so prophetic to me. I said it was so prophetic to me.
Listen, you would have thought it was a Super Bowl in the Wright household. I'm trying to tell you. I think my most memorable moment of the day was the end. And it was the end because the ladies that I love saw the fruit of their labor come to pass in such a magnificent way. That the smiles on your faces and the yay, we did it, was worth it.
It truly was.
And
truly was.
I think that was the most memorable moment for me. Like you ladies invested some real money, some many hours of your time that I can't pay you for. And to have a smile at the end of that and feel like it was a success is the thing that I can't get out of my mind.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
So to the Dream Team, I love you. Thank you for joining me on the journey. For all of those that were with us on Saturday, a DVD is available for sale. If you wasn't with us, I do believe that the anointing attached today will still resonate even after the moment. So I do hope that you invest in yourselves and get that DVD. If I have a takeaway from the night, I'll just say this. Life happens. The choice is yours, whether you choose to remain or whether you choose to go through in order to be a success. If you are a child of God, I am telling you, it's already a fixed fight. You are going to win. Winning is guaranteed. Just go through.
Just go through.
Just don't quit. Don't ever give up. Don't ever give up on you. Thank you so very much for joining the Lady Nakia Wright Show. I look forward to seeing you on next Thursday. If you're not already doing so, please follow me on social media. All my social media handles are Lady Nakia Wright. If you're not following us on our A Woman's Voice webpage, we are AWV Matters. We deposit a daily word in the earth each and every day. And please join our journey on our site. Our website is www.awomansvoicematters.net. On behalf of myself and the girls, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you so much.
Wait.